Congratulations to both of you gentlemen, and I guess I have to say, really, welcome home. As this is not your first time back here in Washington, kind of began your careers here, and also not your first time really working with each other and kind of having to collaborate with each other on things, but it is definitely a new situation and a new experience. Martin, let me kind of start with you. Kind of how has your relationship and kind of knowing Marty over the years, how do you see that kind of working together in this situation?
Well, I met Marty back in 1989 when I joined the Washington football team. It wasn't called that back then, but I met him way back then, and I've kind of admired his career as a GM, going to a Super Bowl and accomplishing the things that he accomplished. And when we were both GMs at the same time, we obviously were in communication during that time period. So the opportunity coming up to work with him just really excited me, and to partner with him. And we spent a lot of time together over the last week and found out we have a lot of things in common as far as the way that we look at personnel. So it's really been a blessing.
Marty, you want to expound on that and kind of how it's going to really help you guys kind of make this team better and take it to that next level?
To have somebody that's been in the same chair, the general manager's chair, which is very challenging. And, so to have somebody that has been through all the ups and downs of it and has had to make the difficult decisions and has to really, try to do things that sometimes aren't popular and know that how hard the making decisions are. And then Martin's personality and he and I, as he said, we see things very similarly. And I think we both work with people very well. I think we're both people, persons that want to bring the organization, bring the people that we work with together and have a collaborative effort. And I think that, we've seen that in this first week, and it's just been such a natural fit.
Marty, you mentioned back in 1989, you were working in the PR department for the team. Martin was playing for the team. You also were a reporter that covered the team. Could you have seen yourself back then in this situation now, writing a story about how this has played out, or saying, you know what, one day this guy that I'm helping him with the media is going to be right here with me in the front office?
No, Joey, I was never one of those guys. I just enjoyed whatever I've done. I've been very fortunate to like what I do. So I get up every day and come to work and like what I do. But it really is when you look back, and now we're both back here in Washington, and it's special to be back here in Washington working together and trying to win a Super Bowl.
Martin, I've talked to a couple of your teammates from that Super Bowl winning team. I mean, it's right here in the trophy. We get to see it every day when we walk into the building with your name on it. But they said even then, you were saying you wanted to be a general manager. Like, you knew what you wanted to do. But what does it mean for you, though, coming back here to Washington in that role?
Well, it's just really special. I mean, I have so many fond memories of that team and those teams I played on for those 4 years and those teammates. It was really just the best football that I've ever been around. It's the best I ever played. It's the best team I ever played for, and the best teammates that I ever had. So just the opportunity to come back, it really was a dream of mine to be in this position. As I think back on it, I mean, some of the guys that we had there, guys like Darryl Green, who I look up to so much even to this day, guys like Art Monk, the Hogs, obviously. There were just so many great teammates, and the coaching staff that we had back then was really exceptional. I'm talking about Joe Gibbs as head coach, Richie Pettibone, defensive coordinator, Emmett Thomas. I mean, three of the great NFL coaches of all time, in my opinion, who I had an opportunity to work with then. So it's pretty special.
If we're talking a lot about familiarity, it kind of seems like both of your careers have come full circle. But Marty, you have a lot of experience working with Coach Rivera from Carolina. A little bit about how that familiarity with him can really come into play, because he's come here and he's been very clear that he wants to set a standard for what he wants the culture to be, to really kind of change that culture. And, he told me at the end of the season, you saw the guys buying in, everybody bought in. You see the rewards for that, having won the division. What do you anticipate kind of that relationship being, how it's going to work out, and how it can add to what he wants to do?
Same as it's been. I mean, Ron has always had the same philosophy, and he is not only a great coach, but he's an excellent evaluator, and he has a great feel for the big picture. And again, is a person that works with people well, knows what he wants, He's had a consistent philosophy since he's become a head coach, in my opinion. It was not a surprise to me to see him come and do what he did last year. I mean, Ron is very direct. It is very easy to understand what he wants. He makes that very clear to not only players, but everybody in the organization that works for him. And I think that clarity and that communication helps everybody. And coming in, I know exactly what he wants. And really, I think, Julia, other than maybe 3 coaches on the staff, I've been with all the assistants at one time or another. So no, I mean, that's the opportunity to work for Ron and just know what he's about, not only as a football coach, but as a person, is going to be very special for me.
There's a certain trust factor that obviously comes with that, that this coaching staff, naturally does have, and that we saw kind of play out throughout this season as well. Martin, though, when it comes to you, Coach came here last January, and he told us that he wants this to be a coach-centric front office. You kind of had that a bit in San Fran. I think people are kind of curious, how do you kind of see that really working out, and how do you see it working out to where it's something that obviously is successful going forward?
I see it working out very well. Just knowing Ron over the years and the way he carries himself. I mean, he's a pro's pro. I mean, just very conscientious. I have great respect for him and the way he carries himself. And I know he's a great football mind and great football coach. So that makes it easier. I think the situation we had in San Francisco with Kyle and with John was very similar to this one, where it was sort of coach-centric. And I saw that partnership work very well between those 2 men. And, their relationship, the way that those guys got along, the understanding that we could accomplish more working together and never having any type of situations that arose that caused a split there. They're always together. They're very close. They spend a lot of time together, as Marty and I have been doing this past week, and plan to spend more time with Ron as well. I think it's important that we all mesh together to make it work. And I know that Ron is very capable of being that final decision maker.
You both, you mentioned it earlier, Marty, that both of you served as GMs before you in Carolina, Martin in Detroit with the Lions. What kind of experiences and lessons can you maybe take from those times, from those stops along the way in your career that you believe will be something that can help you here, Marty?
Well, I think that, and especially in my situation, Julie, when I was a general manager, I was out for a while and then I came back. And, at first you look at the things the mistakes you made, the things you did wrong. And listen, when you're making decisions, when you're in the general manager's chair, you're going to make mistakes and you have to admit those mistakes and learn from them. But what I learned being out was you also have to look at the things you did right and then improve the things that you need to improve on, and then have confidence in yourself to keep doing the things you do right, because everybody in football, everybody's got an opinion. I mean, my son's an engineer and I don't understand half of what he talks about when he's talking about what he does, so I don't have an opinion. But everybody knows football and everybody has an opinion, so you really have to have the confidence in yourself after going through all the work, after listening to everybody, after taking that collaborative approach that Martin and I have continuously referred to. Then you have to have the confidence to make those recommendations for what the organization does. And I think that, being in the general manager's chair and making the number of decisions that we both have done, I think that is such a valuable asset to both of us, because we both had those experiences, and that's why we get along so well. I mean, the only time I get mad is when he starts flashing that Super Bowl ring, because I've been there twice and haven't gotten one. But it's just been such a natural fit, Julie. It's fun, and you have to have fun. There's so much work to do. You have to have fun in this business, and Martin might get tired of me eventually, but I love spending time with him.
So Martin, that means everywhere you go, you're going to be flashing that ring, right?
I do wear it on special occasions, so I do wear it from time to time. And when I interviewed, I made sure that I wore it.
Yes, and to be on the hand you go and you shake with. Look, it's a great reminder. It's something that, not many teams ever can get close to. And this team has the luxury of having 3 Super Bowl rings and championships. But it's been a while. So you have your work cut out for you, because this team now knows the taste of success, winning the division. They want to build upon that. Martin, kind of tell us a little bit about what you've learned in the past from your time as GM. You're saying, okay, here we go. I'm going to get you there, folks.
Yeah, well, it's been a real experience. Had 7 years sitting in that chair, and was able to build something. And we started at 0-16 when I took over as interim GM in Detroit, and we got that to 10-6 within 3 years. So I have experience building, and in San Francisco, sort of the same situation. We built that to a Super Bowl opportunity. We didn't win it, but I look at this team as being better than both of those teams when I walked in. Having won a division, having young talent like Terry McLaurin, having Chase Young, Montez Sweat. I mean, so many talented young players. And then I think Coach Rivera did a great job last year of sort of working on changing the culture. And you could see that. You can see that watching this team play. That final playoff game when Heineke was playing, the way the team rallied around him, it was really something special to watch. And, this has kind of been my home team. Even though I've been with other teams, I've always sort of watched this team and saw what they did. And I checked their scores on Monday mornings. So I was really excited watching that final playoff game. Even though they didn't get the victory, I saw a lot of promise in that football team.
I think when you come in, Coach Rivera was quick to say one of the things he liked about this team is it was a young team. So there's a lot of growth, and that's one of the things he really wanted to go around, is to give these young men the opportunity to be on the field, have those experiences, learn from them, and be better set up for the next time that they're out there, that it's not going to be new. There were a lot of really big moments this young team played in last season. Marty, when it comes to it, and Martin just mentioned a few of the guys that we know are all-stars and studs on this team, where are the strengths on this team that you really want to build around?
Well, I think that it always starts, in my philosophy and Martin's as well, I think it always starts up front, offensive line, defensive line, and then obviously, the quarterback is the key position. And you build from there. And I think that if you can, you have to be able to protect the quarterback and to rush the quarterback in this league. And I think if you are good there, which this team is strong in both those areas, and then you have that leader on offense at the quarterback position, everything sort of builds through those starting blocks. So I think that this team certainly, as Martin has said, has a lot of talent in those areas, and it also has leaders. And I think that that's what Ron has done, is create an environment and a culture where the leaders of this team have stepped up and are setting the tone and setting the expectations. And whenever you see a coach come in for the first year and have a run at the end of the year, the team continually get better and finish with 5 or 6 wins. We did it when John Fox came in Carolina. We won 4 of the last 5 in 2002. We went to the Super Bowl the next year, because that taste of winning and knowing what it's like to win and to win big games and to play in big games, I think is very important. And that's what Ron and everybody in the organization did a phenomenal job at this year.
Oh, the fan base loved it, to be able to beat the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day, Monday night, Sunday night. This team really stepped up and showed up in those primetime games, those big moments. Martin, let me ask that kind of same question. You mentioned a few players, but where are you looking at to say, this is who we're building around?
Well, just like Marty said, the most important thing is up front, and we got to keep feeding that front. We got to keep adding quality players there. We have a really good front four right now. We got to build on that and keep our offensive line solid. But I'm excited about building what we have and building on the base that we already have in place.
All right, but there'll be a day and a time where we get further down into it, but we know your work is brought in, announced, and straight at it. You're down at the Senior Bowl right now. Marty, what are you looking to accomplish down there this week?
really, this is our first chance this year because of the pandemic, Joey, that, you really haven't been able to get to schools and get up close look at players. So we've been able to, through the practices, through the interviews that started last night, you really get an up close look at some of the top players that are going to be in this draft. You get a feel for their personalities, and then you see them on the practice field, and that's so important to see guys live. That's what we can bring Ron and the coaches, is that when you get out during the season and you get to see these players up close and talk to them face to face, you just get a better feel for it. Obviously, watching tape is a big part of what we do, but it's also getting a feel for them when you see guys up close and live during practice, during the Senior Bowl practices, and then during the interviews at night.
Martin?
Oh, I mean, we definitely want to just evaluate this young talent that's here and get ready for our draft. It's one of the most important things that we plan on doing this entire season. And we're off to a good start. Really good practices today from both teams, and a lot of promising young talent out there.
All right, lots of work to be done. We are very excited to welcome you back to the Washington football team, back to Washington, D.C., and put you straight to work. Coach Rivera has laid the foundation, has really kind of changed the culture. So we're looking forward to your additions to taking this team to that next step, that next level together. Appreciate your time, gentlemen.
Thank you.